Okay, hello, good evening. Hi Natalie, we meet again. Right, so this is our October week one. All right, and I believe your trial should be, I wouldn't say near lah, I would say not far away. Okay, so today what are we doing? We are going to start our revision. Okay, we are going to start our revision because I don't know other tutors, right? Okay, other tutors they are still in chapter 9. But I don't want to stay in chapter 9 because that is very meaningless. So what are we going to do? Oh, mid-November, huh? Okay, sure. So we have time lah. That means okay, so let's continue with our let's start our revision, shall I say? Okay, which is here. Which is here. So this should be your October notes. I don't know whether you received this already or not. Should be October notes. And we will start our revision with chapter 5. Got Oh, okay, got already. So we will do chapter 5 and 6 for this month, if I'm not mistaken. So since we are starting earlier than other tutors, so I might slow it down. Okay, I might slow things down for you a little bit, for my class a little bit. Okay, so I don't know whether you still remember this chapter. And when I was teaching this chapter, I don't think you were here in class, right? That time I couldn't remember. Right, so when did you join? I also forgot already. So this was like, okay, okay, nobody remembers. Right, anyway, so let's begin with genetic, very important chapter. So we have 3 things that you should know. All right, let me draw. First, you have this, and you have this. All right, so this is what we call chromosome. Oops, sorry. Okay, this is what we call chromosome. Okay, chromosome. All right, if your mom does sewing, right? If your mom does sewing, she uses thread, right? A roll of thread. That big roll of thread, that's the chromosome. Okay, because you have 46 chromosome, if you remember. So you have every thread, a row of thread is called chromosome. All right, and then when you pull one strand of thread out, one strand, okay, this is one row, you pull one strand out, that is what we call DNA. Okay, do you remember this? Do you remember this? So that's the DNA. And then, right, on this thread, right, okay, along this thread, there are many colors. Okay, let's say this section is green. Okay, and then let's say this section is red, and then this section is yellow, things like that. So you see different colors, right? You see different colors, right? So every segment, okay, every segment is called gene. Okay, so chromosome, gene, and DNA, they're actually referring to the same thing. It's just that they are different parts. All right, so let me repeat this. A roll of thread is called for chromosome. A strand is called DNA. The sections on it is called gene. Okay, so we have many thousands of genes in one strand of chromosome, right? Because if you extend your chromosome fully, you will see many colors, right? So thousands of genes, and every gene will control one characteristic. Okay, maybe this section controls your eye color, another section controls your hair color, and then your hair texture, your maximum height that you can grow to, things like that. Okay, so this is why your gene will your gene is your basic setting. Okay, it's your basic setting. How uh it's like an instruction manual how to build your body. Let's say your body is a machine. Okay, your body is a machine. Right. If you buy different brands of, let's say, machines, right? Let's say you buy let's talk about phones. Okay, when you buy iPhone, right, you buy Samsung, you buy Huawei, different phone has different instruction manual, right? Because their phone is somehow different. So you are the same. my instruction, which is my chromosome, and your instruction is different. Okay, that's why I look different from you. My gender is different, my height is different, my everything is different. Okay, so you get what I'm trying to say, eh? So chromosome is a fine thread-like structure. It looks like thread. Okay, and then DNA is the basic unit. Okay, and then gene determines your characteristic. Okay, so this is what we pay most attention to. This whole chapter is about gene. All right, and of course later you shall learn, or later you shall remember, you have dominant gene and recessive gene. Okay, I don't know why lah. This chapter tend to be forgotten one. Maybe because when you first started Form 4 I don't know why lah. Everyone started Form 4 with a very relaxing mood one. Okay, because after Form 3 isn't it quite difficult? Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, and together with the fact that everyone takes Form 4 very lightly, makes it even more forgettable. And combined with the fact that it's MCO, wow, it's even worse. Okay, you did revision once a few months. Okay. Oh, I see. So I'm cutting your job easier right now. Okay, so you have three, you have three, so this is the easiest way I can make you understand. I hope you do now. All right, and then of course, how many chromosomes do we have? We have 46 chromosome. Okay, we have 26 chromosome. You get 23 from your dad. Okay, and you get 23 from your mom. You get half and half. So what genes do you receive from your dad? It's random. And what genes do you receive from your mom is also random. Okay, if your mom gives you a lot of good genes, then good for you lah. Okay, this is why siblings are different. I'm sure. Do you have any siblings? If you do, then you might have more advantage compared to other siblings or disadvantage. Okay, that's what we call variation. Okay, nobody looks the same. And of course, what is homologous chromosome? Okay, we shall talk about that, which is this one. Okay, and then the first 44 is what we call autosome. Oh, it's mentioned here. Okay, the first 44, we call it autosome. Autosome will determine all your other characteristics. Okay, we determine all your other characteristics, whereas the last two, your sex chromosome, they will only determine your gender. Okay, so it's 44XX female or 44XY male. Okay, don't get confused between XX and XY. Many people do. Okay, I just remember it this way lah. Okay, if you want to censor a girl, you use XX. That's how I remember. Okay, so XX. Because last time I always get confused on. This is how I remember. Okay, so you have your XY and XX. So this is the basic, very important. Okay, let's go into our cell division. Okay, this is the most headache one. I'm sure you have a difficult time studying this, right? You have a difficult time studying this, right? Because it's a lot to memorize and you don't know what to go for. Right. Let me cut your problem simple. Okay, first of all, I wish to point out that this part is not common in exam. Okay, they will mostly come out in objective, so you can still tembak. But since we have time, right? Okay, let me slow it down and explain. Okay, so this is what we call cell division. Okay, if you want, you can write it down. Okay, why is my iPad acting weird here? Okay, so a cell division. Okay, cell division. It's very important. Not really. The important one is the crossing one. That is more important. Okay, so cell division, right? So cell division is mitosis and meiosis. Okay, the mitosis and meiosis. So you have two types of cell division. That means, right, when cell divide into two, when cell they divide, you have two types of division. You have mitosis and you have meiosis. All right, so you see, meiosis is to create the same cell, is to photostat a cell. We call it mitosis. Meiosis is to create everything different. Okay, different. If I copy your homework exactly, that's mitosis. If I copy, then I change a little so that we are different, that's meiosis. How I remember this? Very easy one. Very easy one. You see, this is mitosis. 多出来嘛 mitosis， so 多了一个 cell 咯mitosis that's how I remember. Okay, I know it sounds silly lah. And of course, if you say you don't memorize it like this, you see T, right? T is plus. Plus is add one more cell. Then that's what I remember. You see? You know why I use all this method to remember? Of course, I very lazy one. I'll use the simplest and stupidest and funniest method to remember. Because I want to save time. Okay, I have no time to slowly memorize. Okay, next, meiosis, right? Meiosis, right? Meiosis is 没有 meiosis 没有吗？它们没有两粒一样的，没有，说 meiosis。See, easy. That's how I remember. You use my method, you won't confuse one. You won't get confused. So mitosis and meiosis 没有一样的 nothing is same. So that's all. Okay, that's all. So you see, since mitosis, right? Mitosis is to create the same cell, Mitosis is to create the same cell, So we use it for what? Any photostat application, like you see for growth. You see, when you're growing, you grow from a baby to you now adult, you increase your number of cell, right? When you're a baby, you have maybe a few million cells. Now you have a few billion cells. So you just want to increase your number of cells. So mitosis, and you need to stay the same. Okay, you need to stay the same because your looks, right, just kind of stay the same from your kid until now. So stays the same law. So growth law, and then to replace, okay, to replace cells law. That's for me. Okay, because I'm 30 already, so I don't grow. I wish I can. So when my cells die, right, they just replace so to grow back the same cell lah. Okay, so from your when you're 20 something all the way until you die, you also grow back the same cell one. Okay, because if they don't do mitosis, right, you will start to change your characteristic, and that would be really funny. Okay, that means 1 year you are curly hair, then the next year you are straight hair, then next year you're curly again. No, it doesn't. Okay, you stay curly or straight throughout your life because you are replaced by the same cell. And then also this is for asexual reproduction. Okay, we don't do this. This is for bacteria. So bacteria, when they grow another bacteria, when they photostat another one, it looks exactly like them. Okay, their son or daughter looks exactly like them. Okay, so three functional. You, me, bacteria. You do growth. I do replacement. Bacteria, they do asexual. That's all. Okay, so there are 4 phases here. Okay, there are 4 phases here. We call it PMAT. Okay, PMAT. I just remember it as Prime Minister Ada Telo. Okay, Prime Minister Ada Telo. So I just find it funny lah because our Prime Minister he got no telo one. Okay, he don't dare to do things. Okay, he's the worst Prime Minister ever. So Prime Minister Ada Telo. So that's how I remember. Okay, so you have 4 phases. You have PMAT. So prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. So you have 4 phases here. Right. You see all these points, right? I don't know whether your school teacher tell you to remember all these lah. Most they do. Okay, most school teachers they say, oh, all these points you should know. No. Okay, for me, to make things simple, I just remember 1 point for each phase. Okay, 1 point. So you see, what happens in prophase? What happens in prophase? They're just getting ready. You see, now your chromosome, they just chill around. They're not doing anything, so they just chill. So now, what do you say? Chromosome become visible. That's all. That's all. Chromosome becomes visible. That means you can see chromosome. Settle. The rest, sampah point, rubbish point. No need to write. As long as you see they become visible, they're just hanging around, they're not doing anything, then that's your prophase. Okay, and then next, metaphase. Metaphase is when they are arranged in one line. Okay, and this line is what we call equator. Okay, you know it's equator, right? If you study geography, our Earth, right, the middle line is equator lah. So if we just study space last week, isn't it? So equator is the middle line lah. If you are on equator, Malaysia is on equator. That's why we are so hot. Okay, so equator. So chromosomes are arranged in equator. No need to say equatorial plane lah. Waste time lah. I just say equator. End of story. Okay, so you see 1 point only. This one no need. This one no need. And then anaphase is when they split. Okay, so sister chromatid separate. What is sister chromatid? Very easy. This is chromosome, right? This is chromosome, right? So when they split, they become sister chromatid. Chromatid is smaller, okay, chromatid. And then why is it called sister? Because they are next to each other, so sister chromatid. You don't want to say sister chromatid, you can say chromosome one. Doesn't matter. So sister chromatid separate. Telophase is when they reach the opposite pole. So chromatid reach opposite pole. There, end of story. You see, I only remember 1 point for each phase. No need grandpa, grandma story, memorize so long. No. Because this one, right, mostly they will ask you to label in exam, or they ask you in objective, they ask you to arrange which phase goes first. And have you realized this? Okay because of the MCO, you haven't taken many exams lah. If you have realized this, right? Yes, no need. If you realize in exam, they don't even ask you the phase. They just ask you to arrange which goes first. Let's say they say this is PQRS. Which one goes first? Things like that. They ask you to arrange. That's all. Because in the old syllabus, they have no names one. No names one. Only in this new syllabus, they decide to put the name because they realize it's very stupid to remember something without a name. So they put the name. So I mean, even in the old syllabus, I still teach the name one because for me, it's very ridiculous. It's like I introduce you someone and then I don't tell you the name. So I just tell the name. So you just need to memorize the name and what happens to them. 1 point. That's all. End of story. Okay. Now I'm you see, when people say this chapter is hard, it's because they don't get the way to study. All right. So let's talk about meiosis. Meiosis, right? To create 没有一样的 to create different one, this is only for gamete. Gamete is what? Sperm and ovum lah. Because sperm and ovum is supposed to be different. Every sperm should be different. Every ovum should be different, so that every human being is different. You see, even your mom, theoretically speaking, if your mom were to give birth 1 million times, if she were to produce 1 million babies, or 1 billion for that matter, none of them will look the same. Impossible you get two individuals looking the same. Impossible. So that's the point of meiosis. Meiosis is to create 没有两个一样的。没有咯。Okay, different咯。So meiosis, right, is a bit complicated. Okay, I'm sure last time when you study this, you're like, what the hell is this? Right? Wow, so long how to memorize also. Okay, very easy one. You see, meiosis and meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, right? They are actually the same. Let's talk about meiosis. Okay, they just do it twice. That's all. They just do it twice. So meiosis 2, right? It's the same as mitosis. You can put it here. Meiosis 2 is the same as mitosis because you see, the first point, chromosome becomes visible, spindle fiber becomes formed. They didn't write it here lah. And then arrange at equator, and then sister chromatid separate, and then reach opposite pole. They didn't write it here lah, but it's the same point. So if they ask you for meiosis 2, right, you just write back the point in meiosis 1 in mitosis. It's the same. So you memorize mitosis just now. You already memorized for meiosis 2. So you see, I cut your problem easy already. And then for meiosis 1, right, it's also the same as mitosis. It's just that there's a difference. You don't write chromosome. You write homologous chromosome. That means you write back the same point for mitosis, but you change chromosome to homologous chromosome. What is homologous chromosome? Can you see in meiosis 1 they're in pair? This one is just single. Mitosis also single. Whereas this one is in pair. The pair of chromosome, we call it homologous chromosome. So we can actually write back the same point. Prophase 1, homologous chromosome become visible. Metaphase 1, homologous chromosome arranged at equator. There. And then anaphase 1, homologous chromosome separate. Telophase 1, homologous chromosome reach opposite pole. Same. Okay, it's the same. But I want you to pay attention to prophase 1 because this is the only thing they'll ask. You think they were so good ask this man because they know it's the same point. They know it's the same. They won't let you get marked so easy one. Because in prophase 1, right, there's a very special thing happening. We call it crossing over. This is super important. Guarantee they will ask. Guarantee. So what is crossing over again? Crossing over is the changing of legs. Remember, black, white, and then they change legs. So you have black chromosome with white leg, white chromosome with black leg. Yeah. Okay, there. So there's if in meiosis, if there's one thing they like to ask, that's the thing. They only ask crossing over one. They will ask what is this process. So crossing over. So you see, the take-home point for today is you just memorize these 4 phases and what happens to them. Same thing happened in meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. It's just that meiosis 1 you need to change to homologous and crossing over. You see, I do this in like what, 10 minutes? I don't understand why some teacher can complicate this and teach this for 1 hour. One. I don't understand. Because when I teach, so what's the main difference? What's the main? Yes, that's a cross. Okay, good question. That's the difference. Okay, so what's the difference? Okay, let's look at what's the similarity. They are both cell division, as I said just now. They are both dividing your cell. Okay, both are cell division. They both do DNA replication. The difference, okay, where does it take place? Mitosis take place in all the cell in your body, right? Because all your body cells will create the same cell. Your brain cell will create the same cell. Your skin, your muscle, your nerve, they will all create the same cell, right? So all the cells in your body, besides your ovary and testes, because like I said, meiosis is only for gamete, right? It's only for making baby, right? It's only for sperm and ovum, right? So meiosis is only for we call it reproductive cell. Okay, like testes and ovary. Whereas your mitosis, right? They will take place in all the cell in your body. So all the cell in your body is called somatic cell. Okay, somatic cell. Okay, this one very easy to remember one. Soma sounds like semua. It happens to semua cell. Soma cell. You speak Cantonese or soma cell ma. And then this is only for reproductive organ, only for sperm and ovum, only for testes and ovary. Okay, and then of course plant we don't care lah. Okay, plant we don't care. Daughter cell, right? How many cells do they produce? Mitosis they create 2, because 1 becomes 2. They do it once. Meiosis they do it twice, right? Meiosis 1, meiosis 2, right? So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4. Okay, and then crossing over, like I said, like you said, so no crossing over here, crossing over happens here. And then genetic and variation is the same point. For mitosis, they all look the same. Okay, 多cell mitosis so they all look the same. So you see, genetically identical, no variation. They look exactly the same. It's like I said, mitosis is photostatic. It's to photostat the same cell. And then meiosis, they are not identical. They have variation. They all look different. Okay, they all look different. And then number of chromosome, same, half. Same and half. So if I start with 46, I will end up with 46. And for meiosis, if I start at 46, I will end up at 23. This is why your sperm has 23. Your dad's sperm has 23. Your mom's ovum has 23. This is why you become 46. All right. So as you can see, meiosis, they're very specific. They are only for reproduction. But mitosis is for everything. Okay? Mitosis is for everything. Okay, so this is coming out in an essay. I mean, should be lah. The place that are coming out is an essay. So easy, right? Easy, right? I think I simplify this pretty good. Because it's really not hard. It's really not hard. That's why so no need to memorize a lot of words. Yeah, no need. Really no need on. As long as you understand. That's why you see what I'm focusing here are the keywords. Are the keywords. All right, because the elaboration you can write it in your own ways one. Okay, I mean you see crossing over, cross and tick so you just write it long lah. In mitosis, crossing over takes place, whereas in mitosis, does not take place, and then whereas in meiosis, crossing over takes place. So you expand the sentence yourself. I like to compact all the info so that you can put as much info in your brain as possible. We take off all the unnecessary information. So same goes to here. Okay, same goes to here. Why do I simplify this so much? Because it's really not worth the time. Because this part very uncommon in exam one. Maybe 1 or 2 question in objective lah. But do you for that 2 marks you need to stress yourself so much to get, man? No, right? So that's why I cut it short. As short as possible. Okay, so 4 phases. That's all you need to know. All right, and of course, I think I forgot to mention this. So you have PMAT1, Prophase 1, Metaphase 1, and Phase 1, Phase 1, because Pasar Malam, Prime Minister, other telephone. So, and then other telur, and then Prophase 2, Metaphase 2, Phase 2, Phase 2. Same, no? Okay, same, no? Right, so anyway, let's talk about inheritance. Okay, this is what we want to focus more. This should be the major part of this chapter, okay, which is inheritance. So this is the important one. Right, so inheritance, right? We know that genes, they control a characteristic. Every gene will control one characteristic. So we have 2 types of gene here. We have dominant gene, the winning gene, and we have recessive gene, which is the losing gene. I'm sure you still remember this, right? You still remember this, right? Usually dominant gene, we use capital letter, and then usually recessive gene, we use small letter. Okay, so what does it mean? Dominant gene is the gene that they will always show. Okay, that they will always show their characteristic. Whereas recessive gene, they will only show when there's no dominant gene. Okay, when dominant gene doesn't exist, only recessive gene will come out. That's the meaning lah. Okay, that's the meaning. So you have 2 types here. Okay, let's talk about dominant gene first. Okay, as long as you have a dominant gene, I don't care whether it's 1 or 2, you always have 2. Okay, you always have 2, you see? Big T, big small t, small t. You always have 2 T's because 1 T is from your dad, 1 T is from your mom. Okay, so if you have 2 T's, right? If let's say your dad gives you 1 big T, your mom gives you another big T, you are for sure tall because you have 2 dominant gene. And in this case, we call you homozygous dominant. What does it mean by homo? Homo means same. You know, homosexual means the same sex, they like each other lah. So homo, so homozygous dominant means they are the same, and then they are both winning. Homozygous dominant. And then if you have 1 big, 1 small, let's say your dad gives you 1 big, your mom gives you 1 small, or the other way around, then you are still tall. You are still tall because this recessive gene will be covered by this big T. Like I said, dominant will always cover recessive. Recessive will only come out if there's nothing to cover that. All right. So this is your tall lah. Okay, they are tall, and then you have we call you heterozygous dominant. Okay, why is it hetero? Because you are different. Okay, hetero means opposite. Okay, opposite. 1 big, 1 small, opposite lor. Like if you're heterosexual, means you like you're sexually attracted to your opposite sex lah. Okay, if you're a girl, you're attracted to guy, or you're a guy attracted to girl, then you're heterosexual. So we call it heterozygous dominant. So big small lah. Big small lah. So big and big small. Easy to understand. So all these are your dominant genes. Okay, the winning one, you have free earlobe. That means your earlobe is not sticking to your face here. Okay, can roll tongue. Okay, dimples. Okay, I don't have it. Curly hair. Okay, I don't have it. My hair is very straight. Black hair. Okay, I have this. Long eyelashes. Most Chinese don't have it one. Okay, you look at your, if you have Indian friends or Malay friends, you see the eyelashes are, they are for sure longer than yours. And then brown eyes or black eyes, and then of course tall. These are the winning ones. Okay, so-called winning doesn't mean that you win, doesn't mean that you are, you're more superior than those who are not. But it's just that, it will always show. All right, and then recessive gene, that means they're the losing one. Okay, that means they're like short. Okay, in this case, small t. I see. They will only show when there's no dominant. So there's no heterozygous recessive here. Because as long as they're hetero, for sure they're dominant. Because there's one big T already. So small t lah. So they are both, recessive. So in this case, you have your attached earlobe, cannot roll tongue, dimple, no dimple, straight hair, brown hair, short eyelashes, blue eyes, dwarf. So you see, blue eye is actually a losing gene. Blue eye is a losing gene. That means, right, okay, you are an Asian, man. You have black eyes, man. So if next time you marry a guai lo, an ang mo, with blue eyes, let's say your husband is blue eyes, your baby will for sure be black or brown. Okay, if you're brown, because it's covering the blue eyes. So that's why you see mixed blood, right? If you see mixed blood, like one of the parent is Chinese, usually the children will for sure have black eyes one. Okay, so that's because of the dominant gene of black eyes. Okay, that's all. So the rest of it is just drawing. It's just drawing. Oh yeah, two more words I want you to learn. What is genotype and phenotype? Right, this is what we learned just now. Like you see, the characteristic you see, let's say I say tall, right? You being tall is the phenotype, what you can see. But you see, the gene, right? Big T, small t, this is the genotype. Because gene, genotype, genotype. So in this case, right? These two, let's say one person is big T, one person is big small t lah. They have the same genotype. They have this. Oh, sorry, they have different genotype, but they have the same phenotype. Both of them look tall, but they have different gene. All right. So just because you have the same characteristic as your friend, okay, that means you both have black eyes, you both have dimples. Doesn't mean you guys have the same gene. You guys have the same phenotype, but you guys, not necessarily you guys have the same genotype. So that's the meaning. Okay, so genotype, phenotype should be simple. And then this is the diagram you need to learn how to draw. I mean, of course, you need to know this lah. This is the main part of this chapter. So if you take a pure breed plant, big T, and you take a pure breed short plant, small t, and you cross them, when you cross them, so first they need to do meiosis. This is your dad. This is your dad. Your dad needs to do meiosis because your dad can only give you one, right? Like 46, he gives you half. So 2, he gives you 1. He cannot give you 2 big T's. He will only give you one T. So this is your dad's sperm. So if your dad is a very tall person, if his family is everyone is tall, then he has big, all his sperm will be big T. Because he has no short T in his gene. He has very strong gene, all big T. And then your mom, if she's short, then her ovum is all small t. As you can see, okay? Your mom is all small t. So when you cross them, right, do you still remember how to cross them? Do you still remember how to cross them? If it is 1, 2, 3, 4, no, okay. So 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4. Why do we cross it this way? Why do we cross it this way? Because these are the possibility of the children you will get. Okay, when I cross it this way, doesn't mean oh, my first child will be like this, second child will be like this, third child, fourth child. No, this is just a possibility. So in this case, if your dad, okay, the sperm, first sperm crosses with the third ovum, big small. 1, 4, big small. 2, 3, big small. 2, 4, big small. That means, right, if your dad is a very tall person, everyone in the family is very tall, and your mom is a very short person, come out, all the children will be tall. No matter how many children they give birth to, they will all be tall because they have the gene. Your dad's gene very strong. And then this is meiosis lah, because your dad splits the thing into two, and then the meeting between sperm and ovum is called fertilization. This is in your form 1, right? You learn this, right? So this part will mostly be out in paper 2, but if they ask this in paper 1, then it's very time wasting because they will give you different combination. Remember, like they say, they will give you big small t crossing with big small t, big t crossing with small t, big small t crossing with small t. They'll give you possibilities like this, so you have to do one by one. But the more you practice, you can increase your speed lah. I mean, if you do this enough times, right, you will get so familiar that just by looking at the question, you can know what combination of parents gives what children. You roughly know already, man. Okay, so I hope you have no problem here. Should be very easy, so the rest of this chapter is all about drawing this diagram. It's all about drawing this diagram. Okay, so we shall go into the exercise later. All right, so let's talk about sex determination. So what determines your gender? We can use the crossing also. So as we know, your dad is a male, obviously. So your dad is 44XY. Like I said, XY is a male. And then mom is 44XX. 44XX. So because your mom is female, so I can say XX. XX. So female. All right. So when your dad does meiosis, right? When your dad does meiosis, half of his sperm, like I said, all sperm has 23. So half of his sperm is 22X. Half of his sperm is 22Y. His sperm is, let's say your dad produces 10 million sperms every day. 50% of the sperm will be X, 50% of the sperm will be Y. Whereas your mom, right, every month she do meiosis, every month she produce ovum. Okay, let's say you lah, you're a girl. The ovum you produce every month is only X. It's only X. You can only produce X because your mom only has X. You only have XX. So when you split them into 2, you have 22X, 22X. Okay, so when you do the crossing, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, you will get 44XX, female, 44XX, female, 44XY, male, 44XY, male. Right? So, do you see why now giving birth to male and female is always 50-50? Okay, because it's like flipping a coin. You don't say, oh, you eat a certain food, you easily get female, you easily get daughter. Okay, I've heard all kinds of bullshit methods lah. Okay, they even say, oh, you have sex facing a certain way, or you are easily to have male. It hurts my brain listening to that. Okay. Okay, so who's the fault, right? Yes, okay, definitely now you know. So next time, if your mother-in-law say, hey, why you cannot give me male grandson one? Tell that to your son. Because it's the dad's fault. Okay, so if you want a daughter, ask your husband's sperm, X sperm to swim faster. If you want a son, ask your husband's Y sperm to swim faster. Can you do that? No, right? So you see how stupid this is? You see how stupid this is? All past generations of blaming the female for not being able to give birth to a son, this is the root cause lah. So you see, knowledge is power. This is why you learn science, okay? So that you don't get tricked next time. They say, oh, you come to my whatever thing whatever they're trying to sell you buy my tea. You drink this tea has higher chance of getting male. Hello, drinking tea can affect which sperm swim faster, man? Of course not. Okay, so this is why you learn science. Okay, so that you don't get cheated by people and just basically makes you smarter. So this is how you get male and female, and it's always 50%. This is why throughout the world, male percentage to female percentage is always 50-50. Okay, There might be a time it will be 51 male, 49 female, but a few years later the thing will change. It is a dynamic balance. But more or less, if you take the overall average, it's still 50-50. Okay? It's like flipping a coin. No matter how many times you flip a coin, it will always be 50-50. Okay? You might say, but sir, I get 5 hits and 1 tail. You flip it 1 million times and see. You flip it 1 million times, you flip it 1 billion times. If you calculate the total, it's always 50-50. This is probability. Cannot run one. Okay, so this is how you get male and female. Remember how to draw this. 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4. Very important. Okay, so next, let's look at mutation. Should we go to mutation? Hang on. Hang on, let's look at some exercise. Should we go to mutation? You know what? Let's do some exercise. Let's do some exercise. Let's go to our exercise. I'll talk about mutation next week. Okay, so let's go to page 2, which is this one. Right, so usually, right, in your exam, the first question, okay, sure. I I hope you can absorb everything. If you can absorb what I say today, that's good enough for me. Seriously. That's good enough for me. Okay, so and if you can absorb this, right, I would say this is like 70% of the chapter. 70% of the chapter. The remaining is just mutation and variation, the types of variation, continuous and discontinuous. That's all. There's 2 more remaining. Okay, so number 1, this is usually the first question you see in exam. Your paper 1 section, your paper 2 section A, usually this is the first question. Okay, they will give you a list of things they want you to count. Okay, sometimes can be flowers, sometimes can be whatever lah. It could be height as well. Okay, please don't tell me you don't know how to count. Okay, so you have tall and short plant. Wow, this one you count wrongly. I have nothing to say. Okay, so you have how many tall? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 tall. And you have how many short? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have 7 short. Okay, then what do? You draw a bar chart. You draw a bar chart. So tall has 9. Just gonna draw 9 like that. Then dwarf has 7. Something like that. Okay, so what is this type of variation? Okay, this is actually next week. This is what we call discontinuous variation. Okay, discontinuous variation. So let me just quickly talk about this. Discontinuous, do you remember this? Discontinuous is when you cannot, you can easily split this into group. Okay, like blood group. Okay, blood type. How many blood types do you have? 4. A, B, AB, O. 4. What else? Your ability to roll tongue is either yes or no. There's no in between one. Discontinuous, as the name says, is discontinued. There's no continuation one. There's no intermediate value. Either you are tall, in this case, either you are tall or you are short. There's no half tall short. Same goes to blood group. You have A, B, AB, O. There's no O half, A half, no. So this is discontinuous. Whereas continuous, right, is when you have a chart. Okay, you have a bell curve. Okay, I'll go into that later. So this is discontinuous. So in your opinion, why the flowers have different color even though they come from the same species? Because they are discontinuous variation. Okay, discontinuous variation. That means they have variation. That's why they have 2 different color. Right, about this hydrangea, right? Fun fact. If you put it in acidic soil, they will be blue. If you put it in alkaline soil, they will be pink. Ooh, pretty, right? So by controlling the acidity of your soil, you can actually change the flower color. So you know your litmus paper? Litmus is actually a dye from the cousin. Okay, litmus is actually another flower. So in our nature, right? certain vegetable or certain fruits, they will change color according to acidity as well. Just like your purple cabbage juice. Purple cabbage juice, right? It's purple, but when it's acidic, if I'm not mistaken, it's blue. They will change color according to acidity one. Interesting. So anyway, let's look at the next one. So number 2. This one, should we count? Okay, we count. Okay, since we have time. Okay, so 40 to 40. This is like what? The mass of student of Form 4 Mawa. So 40 to 44. So you have 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 should be. And then 45 to 49. You have 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3 as well. Okay, 3 as well. Oh, I'm not missing any. Okay, so 50 to 54, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's one more here, sorry. So this is 4. And then 55 to 59. Oh, there's one more 54 here. Okay, so 6 here. Sometimes I'll get brain fart. Okay, so 55 to 59, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one more for 53 here. So this is 7 actually. So 60 to 64, you have 1, 2, 3, and then 65 to 69, you have 1, 2. Okay, so why do I count this? Because I need to draw the graph. Because this graph, right, will somehow look like this. Okay, I mean, you have to draw bar lah. So the bar, you see, 3, 4, 7, 6, 3, 2. So 3, 4, okay, roughly 7, 6, 3, 2. So you see, the graph looks like this. So this is what we call continuous variation. I'm sure you can understand the reason why lah, because it's continuous. All right, because you see, like for example, this is weight, the mass or whatever. Body weight and body height, they are continuous variation. Why? Because what is B? Oh, I missed this already. Oh, what is the aim? Okay, aim like the formula to study. Remember this? The relationship between MV and RV. Remember this? So to study the relationship between mass and number of students, you can write that too. Okay, but that's not the main point. So the main point is this. So we call it continuous because, okay, let's talk about body weight. You see, body weight is a continuous variation. Why do I say so? Because in your, let's just say your school, you have people who are 40 kg, 40.1, 40.2, 40.3, 40.4, 40.5, until 41. And then you have someone 41.1, 41.2, 41.3. I see it's a continuous value. Okay, it's very hard to differentiate this into class. You don't say height, you don't split height into tall and short. Is 170 tall for you? For a guy, maybe not. For a girl, maybe yes. So you see, we call it continuous variation because it's very hard for us to draw a line. Whereas this one, this continuous, very easily you can just say, oh, this is the middle. One is on the left, one is on the right. End of story. Discontinuous. And then this is continuous because it's a continuous range. Oh, hey, this is the part we are supposed to learn next week. We learned it already. Okay, never mind. I'll repeat next week also lah. So state the type of variation. So this is your continuous variation. Variation, okay, you write the word yourself. Okay, continuous variation. Okay, so next, your blood group. You count this yourself lah. I'm not gonna count again. So blood group, right? You can draw a bar chart. So mostly your blood group will look something like this. Something lah, okay, something lah. So this is discontinuous. Blood group is definitely discontinuous because it's very distinct difference, very distinguishable. Very easily you can split it into groups. Okay, so next. Oh yeah, one thing I have to say, usually when we learn a chapter, like previous few months, when we learn a chapter and then we go exercise, I discuss exercise, then we go off, right? So if you can, right, I will still discuss exercise, but since your exam is coming soon, right, I suggest you go home and do this. I mean, I'm going to discuss now, but the leftover, go home and do it yourself, because I will still discuss, but I suggest you do it because this is the best chance for you to practice. Okay, because if you just listen to me explain, I mean, no problem too lah, but it's a very good chance for you to do revision lah. Okay, you can. Yeah. I will discuss all answer. Don't worry, I will discuss all. So, if you want, take your chance to do lah. And if you do every bit of the exercise, and if you listen and you use my way to answer your question, you will ace your trial. I guarantee it. Okay. Anyway, so let's look at the cell division. So okay, when we look at cell division, we have to first ask ourselves, is this mito or male? You see 3 chromosome, right? And then at the end, 3 look exactly the same, right? So this is mitosis. 它多一粒 cell 出来嘛，mitosis 咯。And you look at the leg no change color one, then for sure it's mitosis lah. So what is structure M? This is the thread, the one we learned just at the beginning. This is called your chromosome. Okay, the whole thread. If you pull one strand out, that's the DNA lah. Okay, so complete B. So obviously this is PMAT, right? PMAT lah. So B is when they now look like this. You might say, hey sir, why this one cross or this one single bit one? Single stick is when they don't want to do mitosis yet. When they don't want to do mitosis yet, right? They look like this. So you cannot see this under microscope. You cannot see this one. That's why in prophase in P we say chromosome become visible. Because only when they are X we can see them. And please draw 3 because they start, everything is 3 here, so you have to start with 3. You have to draw 3. You draw 4 or you change other color, the answer is wrong. The answer is wrong. So state the type of cell division. This is obviously mitosis. Give a reason. How do you know this is mitosis? So many. You can say number of chromosomes stays the same, or you can say 2 identical daughter cell. Identical means same. The daughter cell looks like the original cell, right? You can say, I'm just gonna give this identical daughter cells because they look the same. Or you can even say there's no crossing over. There's no homologous chromosome. There's only 1 cell division. So many to write. So I just picked the shortest answer because I'm just lazy. No need write long, I still want more only, man. So D, sperm plus ovum. Hey, wait, this is form 1 Okay, so P is fertilization. Okay, this one and this one, they fertilize, right? And then Q, to produce Q. What is Q? When sperm and ovum combine, what do you get? Zygote. And then zygote becomes embryo. Embryo becomes fetus. Fetus becomes baby. You know lah, this is form 1 So name phases in meiosis. Wow. Wow. Okay, you dream on they want you to name all phases, then you give you 4 marks. You slow it, not going to happen. So you have prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1. Okay, primary started the low, and then prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2. Not gonna happen. Okay. Plus, you don't see 4 marks, 1 question, unless it's essay. Usually your structure question, there's only 1 mark, 2 mark, 1 mark, 2 mark. If you lose marks, also never mind. It's only if you don't know how to do 1 or 2 questions, should be okay because there's only 2 marks. Right? So what is this? You see crossing over, right? That's crossing over. Now they split. Now they split for sure. This is anaphase because splitting is anaphase. Then you have to ask yourself: are they splitting chromosome or are they splitting homologous chromosome? So now you see a pair, right? When they split homologous chromosome, like I said, whenever you see homologous chromosome, okay, whenever you see homologous chromosome, that would be meiosis 1. So in this case, this would be anaphase 1. Okay, this for sure would be anaphase 1. Like I said, meiosis 2, they look exactly like mitosis. That means they split 1. They don't split 2. So this is anaphase 1. So what happens in the above phase? So your homologous chromosome separate. Homologous chromosome separate. So what importance of meiosis? What is meiosis for? It's only to produce gamete. Like I said, meiosis is to only make sperm and ovum. Mitosis has much more function to make you grow, to make me replace, to make bacteria reproduce. So state the phase. This is prophase 1. So what are they doing? What are they doing? This is the crossing over. So explain the behavior. They become visible. They do crossing over. Name the process that occurs. Crossing over law. You can do this yourself. Okay, you can do this yourself. So I think I'm going to stop here. All right, so let's continue this next week. I will stay 1 more week in this. And together attached, that's the objective question, right? I might discuss that as well. So if you want, you can go home and do it. Okay, so go home and do this. Go home and do this. You can do until question 9. This one I haven't. This is mutation. I'll talk about this next week. Okay, so that's it for today. I shall see you next week. Okay, so have a great Wednesday. So see you again. Bye-bye.